Welcome, everybody. Great to be together. Another Tuesday, another meetup. As always, we'll start with a few slides that Kati has prepared for us, and then we'll have time for questions and shares.
That was the crystal ball today again. We rest free and relaxed. We rest deeply in the powers of great benefit. We let open intelligence rest naturally, potent and free from the need to control the flow of data. By getting accustomed to this, our recognition of open intelligence becomes stabilized, able to remain steady. So the crystal ball shows the aspect of indestructibility and equalness and evenness of the crystal clear aspect of the crystal ball. And no matter what it reflects, and in our own direct experience, it evokes the recognition of the equalness and evenness in the indestructible open intelligence, what's looking, and we rest free and relaxed, no matter what is appearing within our data streams. We have the power to rest naturally, potent, and free from the need to control the flow of data. This we recognize in a short moment. And the short moment can look like we take a short moment, or we use all the other mainstays. Like we rely on the many tools of the short moments training. These tools are shared in Empowerment 3 very specifically, and obviously throughout the 12 empowerments. Just reading the 12 empowerments text or other teaching texts is part of a short moment, right? When we read the text, listen to the text, or write out parts of the text, they naturally support recognition of open intelligence and a short moment of open intelligence. And then here the meetups and calls, clarity calls, or any kind of local meetings. There are so like any kind of meetings where we talk about, share about open intelligence, have questions, and hear each other's shares, or we texts together. These all are supportive of a short moment. We don't need to try to take a short moment. Open intelligence is naturally recognized. Most of you or some of you know the Short Moments app and its daily teachings. And sometimes videos are posted there, also on YouTube. We started posting at least weekly little video clips. Obviously, Rinpoche has a series of talks online. Just listening to them again and again deepens recognition, deepens a short moment for open intelligence. And because sometimes it's too difficult to take a short moment, or we don't know if this is a short moment, and just immersing oneself in these kinds of ways of using the four mainstays is, supports. Just all along sharing your experience. When we share our experience of open intelligence, it deepens the recognition as well. Support from a trainer when we feel stuck, when we have questions, just asking for support. Sometimes like just writing an email sometimes is like taking a short moment of open intelligence. And then like we just covered, listening to and watching the audio and video media, or reading the online books. I was just looking at all the books because I was looking for the German version. There are some different language versions, French as well, and well, the German books. So they're not quite updated, but they're there, many of the books. So it's, but obviously all the English books are available online with PDFs, and also can get a hard copy book. I read on the YouTube channel, I read excerpts of the One Simple Change book. One simple change makes life easy. Always love that title of that yeah, hearing that one simple change. Because it's one simple change in how we use our mind. Yeah, so replacement of data along with the avoidance, indulgence would completely neutralize our beneficial power. Yeah, this is the power we each have, and some of us can see this from the day we are born and we never forget it. This is the power of benefit that has come to life from beneficial open intelligence. We find a new and powerful way to love and live in open intelligence. Yeah, so also in Empowerment 3, actually, it shares about the different ways of using our mind, like replacing data, avoiding data, indulging data. And yeah, oops, I could just go up again. Yeah, avoiding data, replacing and indulging data, and this way just neutralizes the energy of open intelligence, the dynamic energy of open intelligence that is naturally present, letting this energy of open intelligence, the dynamic energy of open intelligence be as it is. There are powers to be of benefit, to respond in every moment, rather than trying to damp down our energy and make it into something that feels calm and we don't feel anything. Or yeah, just or we indulge in our data and are totally limited to the descriptions of the data. So we rest in open intelligence for short moments, repeated many times. That's how we let data be as it is. And just taking short moments, even if sometimes we don't know what is a short moment. And so we become accustomed to open intelligence. And the short moments grow naturally longer.
A very important point to make about afflictive states is for us to not reject what is appearing. To not reject afflictive states means that when they come up, we rely on open intelligence rather than acting on them or wanting them to go away. Well, you may still want them to go away, so that that wish might arise when we don't feel well. We might really want to feel better. That's a natural impulse that we all have. But even with that wish, we can take another short moment and not reject that wish either. It's just the flow of thoughts, emotions, and sensations. It doesn't mean to be with the afflictive state. That is a question that we often get. Being with something is still you being here and the other thing being over there, and you're trying to be with it, like stare it into submission. This is just to rest as our true nature. Rest, recognize yourself for who you really are, and relax as that. And then in that moment of rest, the tightness, the grip of the affliction just opens. It might loosen entirely, or it might just be a little more loose, depending. Uh, but the point is, in that moment of rest, we don't have to even try to not reject or to do anything. In the moment of genuine recognition of open intelligence, that happens automatically. That need to reject, that need to manage, that urge to control falls away because we recognize that in our crystal ball-like nature, nothing needs to be done with the affliction. As amazing as it may seem, after years of trying to better ourselves or trying to keep a tight control on our thoughts, emotions, and experiences, when we begin to rely on open intelligence, we come to see that the natural space of open intelligence is already perfect and therefore doesn't need any adjustments to make it perfect. Yeah, it's It's kind of ironic and um, in a good way, really strange to recognize that what we've been looking for truly to experience in life was already there at the basis of every moment, but we never recognized it because we were so busy going into the labels, into the descriptions of every moment. I feel like this, I think like that, my body is experiencing that, and this and that and the other thing are happening in the world. And we're so busy describing that we have overlooked the space in which all these descriptions appear, that natural space of open intelligence. And just like the crystal ball is perfect and complete no matter what appears within it, that natural space of open intelligence is by nature naturally perfect. So nothing about the appearances needs to change. Same crystal ball, same open intelligence. And in that we find those qualities that we've been looking for by controlling our thoughts, emotions, and experiences. So it's in that recognition of our true nature that that need, that urge, that just sense I have to do something about this relaxes. Here is where the instruction to allow everything to be as it is very powerful. When we feel very angry, hateful, or resentful, we let it be as it is. That's really powerful. The reactivity of anger and hate would grow less and less, like mist evaporating in sunlight, one water particle at a time. Yeah, sometimes it can feel like that it's just one water particle at a time, especially if we've had the anger, hate, or resentment for a long time. It might not be evaporating all at once. But again, in that moment, it's I really like the sentence when we feel angry, hateful, or resentful, let it all be as it is. We don't need to then no longer feel anger, hate, or resentment. Those are experiences that will still come, but they're not empowered to run our actions. They're not given that command center control any longer to direct our actions, including the direction to repress, suppress, fight them. They can just be as they are in the recognition that they're the dynamic energy of open intelligence.
As data appear, rely on open intelligence. This is essential practice during daily activities. So as data appear, which they do all the time, countless, ceaseless, and unpredictably, we have thoughts, emotions, and situations appear in our life, daily life, and we rely on open intelligence. Take a short moment. If one doesn't follow after data and doesn't develop a story about them, the data are naturally released in open intelligence. So they have this aspect and quality of self-release. If we don't follow after them, indulge them, make a story out of everything we are feeling, thinking, and perceiving, take a short moment and rest naturally in the energy of open intelligence. Data naturally release as open intelligence. They're already open intelligence in whatever form, but everything arises and self-releases. And rest is best because we directly experience freedom from worry and concern. We're better able to be of benefit to ourselves, our family, our community, and world. When we rely on open intelligence in a natural way, we tap into our innate strengths, gifts, and talents and contribute them for the benefit of all. We're going through the 12 empowerments where we first are introduced to open intelligence, get to know the way we use our mind, how data have managed our life basically and potentially restricted our strengths, gifts, and talents, our way of contributing what we love to do or what we're good at. And and just simply also robbing us from a moment to moment well-being. Getting to know rest is best practice of short moments and gaining familiarity with that, seeing all the belief systems and assumptions, the resentments in relationship we hold or we perpetuate, and seeing how to rest naturally and recognize the way we use our mind and recognize open intelligence, deepening the letting everything be as it is. There comes in the later empowerments a focus on how we can use this power, the beneficial energy that is the energy of all data. It's not only the good data, it's all data to use for the benefit of all, which includes ourselves. So knowing how to be, how to act. And it doesn't mean it has to look in a huge, large way. It's just in a simple, everyday life way. And yes, to rely on open intelligence or not, that is the question. There's also a quote from the One Simple Change book. And so this is the choice we have in every moment. We rely on open intelligence or we don't. So we focus on the content of our mind. Yeah, I guess we'll pause here for today. Now we can have shares and questions as well. Nice to see everyone. Great. Love to hear how the 12 empowerments are going. If you're in the 12 empowerments, if you have any questions or something you'd like to share. Yeah, Natalie.
Hello, thank you for being here for us. An old concern, I mean, kind of concern has popped up again. It seems that my practice of short moment is so, I mean, it's so simple, it's so ordinary that when I'm thinking of, the descriptions that you can read of Tibetan practitioners of the modern and old times, or even Rinpoche, or even on the shares of you guys, trainers or ex-participant to the trainings, on the YouTube channels, where it's extraordinarily marvelous and so fantastic that I'm wondering if I'm not taking this ordinariness of mine for something that is not, which is not the point. And in the same time, well, the simplicity of the great perfection. So it's simple, but well, so I was a little bit in that these last days, I would say. Yeah. So if you can share something or
I can relate. That thought still pops up every now and then for me when I read the marvelous experiences of masters. But then, what's thinking the thought?
yeah,
That then immediately brings me
yeah,
back. And it used to spin me into days-long doubts and wandering around and looking for an answer objectively somewhere. But then coming back to my own experience, it's always undeniable. So that's essentially the shortcut. And I think also I often forget how life really felt before this. Because life in the outer environment, or even like the kinds of thoughts I have, hasn't changed so much. Although that did also change, but um, not as dramatically as I had always hoped it would. And but then when I think back of how of how isolated and tensed and just dramatic I felt in my day-to-day experience for a lot of the time. It's so different. So in that, that quote, like nothing's changed and everything's changed, as trite and worn out as it might seem, I think it's used because it really describes it so well. And so to me, it really feels very ordinary in that way, that I don't see like little rainbow colors, or you know sometimes we hear these things, especially from the Tibetan cave dwellers when they come out of a 3-year dark retreat, and then suddenly everything is rainbow light. So I don't have that. And then I think, oh, maybe I should. Maybe I should. Maybe, I asked Rinpoche after I did the 12 empowerments, and I just was so blown away by what it revealed to me. And all I wanted to do was go into a cave for half a year and practice. So I went there and said, can I please go now? And she just looked at me and said, nah, we have work to do. And so I never made it into my 6-month dark retreat. And but the way that my life flows today, the inner experience of that same life is just so vastly different. And the experience hasn't, like the content hasn't changed so much, but the inner experience is like being a different person, essentially. So I can relate, and who knows what will happen? Maybe at some point the rainbow lights will appear. Um, but like having a conversation with my mother or my dad and being completely at ease, open-hearted, and in full relationship with them, to me is a greater miracle than seeing rainbow lights. On second thought. On first thought, the rainbow lights are the bigger miracle. But when I really let it sink in, I choose the parents' relationship. Yeah, so yeah.
Thank you. The parents' relationship is bodhicitta, is loving kindness, right?
Mm.
Without that, nothing is possible. Yeah. Thank you, Jochen.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing.
Good morning again. Yucel was asking about the empowerments. I've completed the 12 empowerments, working back through, and I've been stuck on 11 for a while. Excuse me. And over the last couple of days, there's a sentence here that I'll read that's really been powerful. The sentence is, rely on single-pointed open intelligence and allow data streams to flow along with no need to create a story. And I read that and gave it some thought, and it's clear as could be that that's all I've ever known, was to have a thought, an emotion arise and run with it. Here we go. And have additional thoughts, additional emotions, additional thought elaborations. A big story gets created, but that can be arrested and looked into, and short moments brought to that typical pattern. And instead of a big, long, painful, afflictive story, I can be in the moment. And what I'm the word that came to me in what happens in the moment is wonder. There is a absolute wonder to what is going on everywhere all the time, uh, from a microscopic cell to an infinite universe. This is really quite something we're in the middle of here if you stop and think about it, stop and look at it. So I'm choosing wonder in every moment instead of a story. And the little phrase I end up writing here in my notes, enjoy the wonder, drop the story. And there's a lot less suffering in enjoying the wonder as opposed to running a story and building that thing out to the nth degree. So it was a wonderful insight for
Mm.
me.
It's beautiful. And Paul, since you're sharing about the empowerments, may I ask you a question?
Sure.
Because you're going through the second time now, and as you mentioned to me in an email, that will probably not be the last time that you enjoy reading these texts. This might be not so easy to encapsulate, but what, from your experience after all these years of seeking and then doing going through the 12 empowerments, is there anything that you feel was particularly supportive about it for you, or like anything that you could recall that helped to not go into the story, but make the choice you just shared with us so beautifully?
That's I need 30 or 45 minutes here for that one, Jochen. I think one of the biggest things that has come to me out of the 12 empowerments is the fact that there's nothing that appears, whether it's a thought or an emotion or a concept or an idea or a direction or an opinion, anything that anything that could possibly exist or occur in my daily experience, including me, including anyone in this group today, not a single thing or person exists independently, has their own power, has their own capability, has their own energy whereby they can be or do or be about stuff. It doesn't exist. There's only this open intelligence, this aliveness that's carrying each of us every single moment, that's energizing each of us every single moment. That's what is. That's what absolutely exists. It's undeniable. But all the thoughts and emotions and opinions and ideas and labels and words, they make their appearance, but they have no independent
Mm,
strength, independent origin, independent capability. But we give them that and hold them as having this independent power and capability, but it's not there. That power and capability is found in the open intelligence that we are, and to begin to recognize that it's been life changing.
mm, mm. Beautiful. Thank you, Paul.
Well, you're welcome.
Great to hear from you.
I encourage everyone to take the 12 empowerments. It's been I mean, everything was fantastic and unbelievable before, but I've become an evangelist for the 12 empowerments. It's been profound beyond words.
Carissa, yeah.
Hi there. Um, I wanted to talk about some of as somebody who's a baby in the empowerments and about a year into the teachings. One of the things that I've noticed that's kind of on a practical side is when we talk about the subtleties of the benefits, like how do I know that, that this is working? Well, when we think about in adulthood, indulging in the data, indulging in the stories. At first, I noticed how they're constantly through a filter of fear, constantly. It's like this, safety mechanism to anticipate the worst and to go from there. And the first process of me thinking about this was, as a child, it was the opposite. I always like had the grandest and biggest hopes, and something in maturing, change shifted that. And so first I noticed how the data shifts into a more negative lens. And then when I think about relaxing in the face of data from an emotional standpoint, physiological, the fight or flight response, the energetic current that could take me on, that I'm opting out of, that I'm choosing to relax. Those changes, so subtle, I think have a really big impact on the body, the mindset, the ripple effect. And then I also appreciate how connected we all are. I guess that's the heart of all this teaching. And I think that every time that we make a decision not to believe the data and really to cement faith in something beyond that, I think that the ripple effects of that template of decision making has a ripple effect on those out of our orbit that we might never reach. And I think that this creates a foundation for others to make pathways of making these decisions. And there's something so intoxicating and something that feels so um, like productive about indulging in the data. And so it kind of like flips everything on the head to opt out of it. But I just think that these subtle changes that we might take for granted have a bigger effect than what we think. So although, I actually have spent only 10 days in dark retreat alone, but I did come out of in a high place. I wasn't seeing rainbows, but I'm certainly coming out in a high place. But life gets real quick outside of retreat. So I am appreciating the subtle nuance, and I'm glad that you touched on the parents, because they were the symbol for me of loving and accepting them exactly as they are. Because before that, I was misguided in wanting them to change for their betterment, but I understood that me trying to organize their data wasn't doing anything for anybody. So it's really opened me up to softening this focus on needing to heal or change, which I think is just the modern day journey of original sin, and now it's in this new age. We're all broken and need to be healed, and I just love the wholeness of the idea of this, that everything is in its place. I do get kind of hung up though, if everything's in its place, well, when does this compassion well up within me when I can't find it? So I guess I'll have to update once I find that within me. Sometimes I have to tell myself, be compassionate. I'm like, okay, I'm compassionate now. But I might be faking it sometimes. But thank you for letting me share.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, thank you for sharing. Very powerful, awesome. And the compassion. It has so many looks, so yeah, it feels very natural when you speak about it, though. Yeah, so, but yeah, perfect. Thank you. It's inspiring to listen.
Hi,
Hello, Laurie.
good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Nice to be here.
Mm.
I just wanted to share my journey so far. I'm on Empowerment 10, and it's as Paul says, you don't really know what's going to happen, but it just sort of unfolds on its own, and everything naturally starts to incorporate. All those teachings just start to appear in moment to moment. My experience of the four mainstays are the trainer, the teachings, the Zoom, and the community. And I don't have my main uh, I can't really stress how important and beneficial my trainer, Kathy, has been in my journey. And so I just said that, but that doesn't say. And without that ability to say anything, no matter what it is, through the most seeming humiliating experiences or wonderful experiences, that itself has changed. Uh, that itself was the living example of allowing, not allowing, but that everything just as it is, as it is. That was the living example and is today that everything that's appearing, even in this very moment, is all there is. And there's no changing it. Uh, and in the conversations with my trainer, that has been really a turning point, that the anxiety, the anger, the fear, the just the overwhelming situations, they too, there's nothing wrong with them. And they too are just what is. And that's a very different experience than living a life of this shouldn't be this way. And so all those kind of beliefs and things that kind of were seen in the process of the short moment so far, they really are seen as just things not to be afraid of. They're just not to be afraid of. They're just the origin of them is itself open intelligence, and there's nothing wrong with it. And I guess the thing that I would say is that there's only this just what is appearing right now, and as it's not let but as it is, without that story, it's perfectly fine, no matter the anxiety, the discomfort. It's discomfort, but there's no, this shouldn't be. And this isn't like a continuous way of being, but it's becoming more natural and more just naturally occurring. And I just don't take the thoughts appear and that say about a doubt or you're stupid or you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. I don't, it's like that's okay too. That one is okay too. And it'll be there until it doesn't, maybe it'll always be there. I don't know. But I don't try to get rid of it. And it's beautiful. So the empowerments have been a nice container and a guide. Uh, but my ability to share, which I don't really have that experience in life of sharing truly with another, has been life changing. And the other thing that uh, I would say is the living example of my trainer and the in the moment, that is itself what is I don't know. I don't know how to say it, but um, it's an experience of the teachings in moment to moment with my trainer that has really helped with the information. And this isn't a something for the empowerments, but why not the empowerments? What else? What else? Why? Why? And your videos every week, I love those. Just beautiful. And anyway, that's my experience so far. Everything just is as it is. Even the good, the bad, the ugly, it's just not even really who cares? It's like, who cares that the mind has told me I'm a piece of shit once again? Who cares? How many times am I going to listen to that and let it go into a big bad story? Who cares? Anyway, I appreciate everyone and Candace and all the work that people have done. It's So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Laurie. That's so beautiful and powerful experience. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Amanda, how's it going?
Well, I haven't got very much further with the 12 empowerments, but my house is having plenty of opportunity to practice because a lot of problems with the building project at my house, and yeah, so just accepting this is what is arising without going into story around it. And there's pretty scary stuff going on financially, some big problems with the structure of the house that have been discovered, and there isn't a budget for that. So yeah, it's a pretty tough time, but I've noticed when blame is coming up, they should have seen that, the kind of, and to go, okay, it couldn't be any different. It just is what it is. Yeah, where I can, be it washing up or, just taking a short moment. And for me, also really connecting with the nervous system in short moments, because obviously short moments is calming the nervous system, but I need to do a bit more. So look around the room when I take a short moment, maybe do something to calm my nervous system. Otherwise, it can be a bit like a terrified short moment, which is not particularly helpful. So doing something to soothe the body during a short moment seems to really help. So yeah, about it. I keep meaning to write some more for wherever I'm on, 4 or 5, but lots of things keep coming in between.
Okay, 4 and
But I'm
5.
listening
Yeah,
to
it's a longer one, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, it's good to see you. Well, thank you, everyone. It was good to be together today, and see you all next week.
Thank you, friends. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank you.